Hi grade 7s, let's have a quick look at working through getting a Lego character into a scene. First up, I've got a Lego character loaded and I've got a zip file of them ready to go on the machine on the Google Classroom if you want it. Okay, you can download them as a zip file, and what I'm going to do is, first thing is I want to copy and paste this Lego character into a scene I've already got open. So I use Command A for all, and you can see it gives me those marching ants that we looked at before. So I'm going to go Command C, and I'm going to go to my scene up the top here. You can see I've got this sort of ordinary looking park scene here, and it's got some shadows in it as well, which we'll get to in a minute. So let's go Command V, paste in my character, and you can see that my character is looking a little bit on the large side. So I'm going to use my Command T, and Command T allows me to transform and scale my character. Okay, so I'm going to keep him sort of pretty giant, I think. So he's walking through, as a really large character, and you can sort of start to roughly place your character where you want them to be. And when you scale in Photoshop, try and always remember to hold down the Shift key, and that'll give you a proportional scale. So if I haven't got my Shift key down, you can see that I can squash my character all over the place, and that's a pretty amateur kind of effort. So let's hold down the Shift key and keep things nice and proportional. Okay, so once you've finished your scaling, hit the return key, and it'll be done. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in a little bit, Command plus, and the thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my magic wand tool to get rid of the white background. So you may be set on quick selection tool at the moment, so it's the 1, 2, 3, fourth one from the top on the toolbar. Hold it down and it'll bring up a couple of tools. Select the magic wand is probably the best one for starters. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the white, and I can see here that the magic wand has selected. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. You can see that the marching ants have cut into his hand here. So I need to adjust the tolerance, or how aggressive the magic wand is. So I might take it down to, say, a power of 15. I'll deselect. I'll click again, and you can see that it's selected all the white, but it hasn't selected any of the colors or other light colors. Okay, so it basically tells us how many color shades away from the color you clicked on that the magic wand will select. So that's looking good. I can use Command 0 to give me full screen. Hit delete. That's good, and I can go deselect. Okay, so I've got my Lego person, and they're looking pretty good, but they're just sitting a little bit high in the scene. Because it looks like they're floating in the air because there's no shadow. So when we look at these other characters here, we can see these shadows that really help us to see what's going on with the character and understand visually where they might be anchored into a scene. So in order to build a shadow, we're going to build kind of a fake shadow system. And the way that I'm going to do that is, first I'm going to duplicate this layer. So I'm going to drag my Lego person down to this little square new page icon, and you can see now I've got 2 layers. Now you can rename it if you want to. I'm just going to call it my shadow layer. I haven't spelled that properly, so let me just fix that. And yeah, it's worth renaming layers with names that you can recognize, because you never know how complex some files might get up to 50, 100 layers sometimes. So it's worth keeping track of them nice and early. Okay, so we're away. So I've got this top layer. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click Command A, and what I want to do is I want to start to turn this character black. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Adjustments, few different ways you can do it. I'm just going to bring up the levels, and I'm going to bring everything down to, I'm going to push it right up like that, and I might even pull this white right down as well. Okay, so I've pushed all these top ones right to the right, and I've pulled all these ones right down to the left, and you can see now I've just got this pitch black fill on my character. That's good. I'm just going to go OK, that's cool. And what I can do now is use my arrow, and I can start to move this away. So you can see I've got a layer on top of my other Lego character, and this is my shadow layer. So what I'm going to do is reorder the layers. So I'm going to bring my shadow down below my person. That's cool. And now I need to start to distort this shadow so it matches. We can see the direction of this shadow. We want to start to match that one. Okay. So what we can do is we can start to go T for transform. So Command T, and I'll start to squash them down a bit. That's cool. And then once I've done that, I'm going to, that's good, I'll give it a little bit more action. So I'm just going to come down to Image, and actually I'll go to Edit, Transform. Free transform's not bad, but let's do a little bit of distorting as well. Okay, this means that I can grab one side of this, that's good, and I can grab the other top side, and you can see it's starting to align the shadow, so it's going in pretty much the same direction as that other shadow there. I'll just maybe just push it a little bit further. That's good. Okay, so that is starting to get somewhere. Command T, I might just squash it a little bit more, just so it's starting to, you can see now it's starting to line up with our character. Okay, so that's not too bad. But the problem we've got, we can see that this is a pure black, and over here, this is a lot more sort of faded into the scene. It's not a pure black because the light's bleeding in from the atmosphere in all sorts of different directions. So let's just tune down the opacity here. So as I start to pull this down, we can see that it starts to blend this in. So it looks like we're starting to get a shadow here. If you want to get, that's pretty good. If you want to get a little bit more involved, we can also go Command A, and we can go to Filter, and let's have a look at some blurs. We're going to use the Gaussian blur, and you want to just sort of like dial it up just a little bit, just to sort of soften the edges just a little bit, not too much. Okay, so that's looking about right. I'm just going to go OK, and right, so we've got our Lego man sitting in the scene. That's all pretty good. One last thing that I might do, it's worth thinking about the toning on the figure as well. So it's got a little bit of extra blue here, which is not too bad, but maybe his color is a little bit more saturated than the image we're copying it into. So I'm just going to go Image Adjustments, and I'm just going to go Hue Saturation, which is a nice little tool. And I'm just going to pull down the background image, the Lego man's image saturation, just to match the foreground image saturation a little bit. Okay, and that's about, yeah, just pulling the saturation just off a little bit. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, so that's our character. He's sitting in the scene nicely, and we've matched up the colors, you know, fairly well. Okay, so you have a go. You can use those figures I've got loaded up to the website, or you can go and hunt down your own ones. But remember, items that you'll need for success are Lego characters that are a nice high resolution. They've got a really plain background, so it's easy to cut around with the magic wand tool. And also your background scenes want to be nice and simple, so that there's no things in front of your character, because then you'll have to cut around those as well. That'll make things a little bit more complicated. It can be done, but probably not worth it on your first go at this. Okay, so thanks for now, and good luck.